As you all know, I'm Miss Lloyd and I teach the 1st and 2nd grade class. And my testimony, since I can't stay, I'm going to give my testimony over video. But I grew up with 2 brothers and 1 sister, and my mom and dad, of course. And I remember just driving on our bus and all the kids around me saying, "Oh, my parents are getting divorced." And I remember one day there was 2 or 3 students who said, "My parents are getting a divorce." And I honestly remember sitting there thinking, that will never happen to me. You know, we went to church. My mom took us to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. And then my parents never fought, so I thought that would never happen. And August 15th, my 10th birthday, my mom showed us that she had filed for divorce with my dad, and my dad moved out. And then that's when everything started to change. We never went to church anymore, and I remember just feeling like my whole world had crumbled. Soon my mom was not home. She would go out every night, and then when she would come home, she would be so sick from going out that I would have to clean her up and her mess. So I'm kind of just giving you details to let you know kind of the things that I was facing inside. I became very cold and bitter, and I started hating my dad because my mom would mislead me and tell me things. Soon my mom's boyfriend moved in, and I got even more angrier because he would hurt my sister physically. He pulled her arm out of socket. So my whole world that revolved around church and around my family was now gone. And the feelings that I felt were just hatred and anger and bitterness. Then later, we moved to Norwood, which was a totally different place from what I've been used to. I was scared all the time. We lived in an apartment, us 4 kids and my mom. And there was roaches that would crawl all along the walls. And that was something that I was never used to. We had a clean home, and it was just a modest home, but it was clean. And so Mom stayed gone all the time, and she would come home in the middle of the night once we were asleep. And then one day, we heard a lot of knocking on the door, and I answered the door, and it was my dad. And he said, "Your mom called, and she wants me to come and get you because she is going to leave." And so I remember when he came and we got our stuff together, we got into his truck, and I felt so unloved, so unwanted, and I felt hatred towards my dad. And I just remember I would not let myself cry. So soon we moved in with Dad, and came time my grandma took us to church. And I remember sitting in my pew, and our youth choir got up to sing "He'll Do It Again." And everything that I had hid and pushed down deep inside came out that day. I remember I went up to the altar and I cried. I had not cried in a long time. And I remember after I got up from the altar, the hatred that I felt, the heaviness that I always carried was gone. And I remember just walking back to my pew and feeling so free. And, you know, my mom later, she told me, she said, "You know, Angela, one day you're going to be just like me." And I thought, I cannot be like that, because I want a family and I want kids. But I know that, you know, Christ, He's my Savior. His blood that He shed for me is now running through my veins. So I came from my mom, but I know I don't have to be like that. And as long as I keep Him first in my life, I know that I can do anything through Him. He gives me strength. And some of you may look at your lives and you may think, well, you know, look at my parents, look at the situation in my life, look how I grew up. I didn't grow up in a preacher's home. But you know, God did something in my life just like He wants to do in your life. And if we keep Him first, we can do anything and become anything that He wants us to be. Thank you.